Hello, I'm Ashley with Mountain Mamas, and today I am going to do a how-to on car pumping. There's 5 steps I want to talk about. The first step is safety. The second is schedule. The third is preparation. Fourth is implementation, and the fifth is cleanup. The first thing is always make sure to be safe. Of course, it's always important to be safe. We need to be safe for our babies, we need to be safe for our husbands, and we need to be safe on the road for other people. So I do encourage safety. Make sure you are always able to keep your eye on the road. If you don't feel like you can do it safely, I would discourage you from doing it. Now I do live in the mountains, so I have lots of curvy roads, so it does play a little bit of a role of if I'm going to pump or not. Typically I know where there's good turnoffs. I'm pretty experienced with pumping now that I can do things without even looking, so just always take into consideration your environment. Second thing I wanted to talk about, so point 1, safety. Second thing I wanted to talk about was schedule. When you are considering road pumping, I think one of the big things I've got to think about is my schedule for the day. I do quite a bit of commuting in my job. I do work out of the home or outside of the home. So I like to stick to my little one's schedule as much as possible. And she eats about every 3 hours. So if I have a meeting that's coming up, I try to, and usually my commute is about an hour, sometimes half an hour. It just depends on where I'm going. So if I'm working all morning, then I will try to go ahead and pump as soon as I get in the car. But if I had just pumped about 2 hours ago and I know I won't be getting where I need to go for another hour, I'll wait till I'm almost there, probably about 20 to 15 minutes out, and then I'll start my pumping session. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. The next thing I think that's big about car pumping is prep work. You just don't get in the car and have everything to the side. So pretty much what I have here is I go ahead and I'm setting my pump out. I'll plug everything in when I know I'm going to be doing car pumping. And typically what I end up doing is I usually pump near the end of my drive, just of how my schedule works. Number 1, safety. Number 2, schedule. Number 3 is prep work. So I go ahead and get everything plugged up. I've got I'm using the Medela pump. I also use the Spectra, but we'll talk about that at a different time. But Medela is my car pumping pump. It has this nice little adapter that you can buy. I got mine off of Amazon. A little adapter like that. You just plug it in as normal into the like lighter fixture. And I get all of that ready. So that when it is time to pump, I am ready to do it. And I go ahead and I actually set them in my cup holders. And so it's kind of, I'll show you what I've got. It won't let me turn. But it's just like all over here to the side. You got the pump and you got that. The other big point I make in prep work for this, the other big point I make for prep work is I always wear 2 shirts. So I have my little camisole and I have my on top shirt. I usually leave this down and I'll pull this up. Also, to be a little discreet, I like to usually wear a scarf, and it kind of tries to hide it just a little bit as onlookers come. And so that's step 3 is preparation. The third is implementation. And pretty much what I do is I'll just lift my shirt. I've never purchased a pumping bra. That's my own preference. I didn't feel like I needed it. All I do is I do wear a nursing bra, and I unlatch both sides, and I find once I've lifted one shirt up, have one shirt down, and I've put my pumps into place, that it's relatively easy. My pump, or not my pump, but my bottles tend to stay, phalanges tend to stay in place. So then I don't worry about it. I just hold on to the wheel and I drive. I just, like I said, implementation, I just click it down, lift one shirt up, leave the other shirt down, and unclick the sides just so my nursing bra can kind of help support the phalanges, and I just pump and go. Cleanup wise, when I'm done, maybe also if you want to pump a little extra, I do try to do 2 letdowns if possible while I'm road pumping, especially if I have extra time. So I do try to let 2 letdowns. And what I would suggest is when you get done, so you just pull them off, you put them in the cup holders, and if I do it at the end of my drive, I just wait to get where I'm going to clean up. Now, if I pump at the beginning of my drive, I will pull to the side to go ahead and clean up and get everything into my little pumping bag. So that's what I would suggest for that. Cleanup wise, I do pull over off the side of the road if I'm gonna completely take the tops off and put the lids on and put them in the cooler. Like I said, I do that if I am pumping at the beginning of my drive. At the end of my drive, I'll just set my bottles to the side in the cup holder, and I'll wait to get to my destination to do my cleanup. So in the comments below, please let me know if you have any other tips, any other suggestions. Have you ever card pump? And if you have, what is your experience like? And just comment below and let us know. Thank you so much for tuning into Mountain Mamas, where we are mamas helping mamas.